Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhu, we can.
Ashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 27. Tasmin tada labdha ruchehe mahamate. Tasmin tada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matihi mama yaya. Mama Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama yaya aham etat satasat swamayaya yaya aham etat sadasat swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. Pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama yaya hametat sadasad somayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama yaya hametat sadasad swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin sada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama yaya hametat sadasat swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama yaya hametat sadasat swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam mate.
Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate.
Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate.
Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama
Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama
yaya hametat sad asat swamayaya
yaya hametat sadasat swamayaya
pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare.
pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin sada labdha rucher mahamate.
Tasmin stada labdha rucher mahamate. Priya shravasi askhalita matir mama Yayaham etat sadasat swamayaya Pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. Online.
Tasmin tada labdha ruchir mahamate
Tasmin tada labdha ruchir mahamate
Priya Sharvasi Akhila Askhalita Matir Mama.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness. And all Vedic literatures, and in all Vedic literatures, the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. Hearing of the Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental. Association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. To become associated with the supreme light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with the material nature. When ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead, then nescience is removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleansing the temple, or making obeisances, etc. The path of Archana, or worshipping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting his name, etc. All such activities are transcendental. Where did it go? Interesting. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of the transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in the devotional service, but simply attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as it was developed in Narada Muni by hearing, is highly effective. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are seeing this wonderful conversation between Narada Muni and Vedavyas, and Narada Muni giving his own personal example as to how he could convert or transform the most unfortunate circumstance into the most fortunate circumstance. Being born as a son of a maidservant, how could he become an exalted personality like Narada Muni? And it is worth knowing all the steps, or how did he come to that stage. So this verse, if we see it closely, Tasmim stadalabdha rucher mahamate priyashravasi askhalita matir mama yayaham etat sadasat swamayaya pashye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. The word used here is askhalita matir. It's a very beautiful word. Skhalita and askhalita. It is almost similar to sthita prajna. Askhalita matir is translated by Prabhupada as uninterrupted attention. So, and the other word that is used is labdha rucher. He developed a taste. I got a taste of the personality of Godhead. So tasmims tada, it's tasmims as soon as, like we say the word in English, as soon as I developed a taste for the loving personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. So as soon as labdha rucher, the ruchi, as soon as it came, O Mahamate, O Vyasadev, Priya Shravasi Askhalita Matir Mama. My mati, it became askhalita, unflinching attention. Then it came. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings. Yayaham etad sad asat swamayaya. Swamayaya. It's my own ignorance. It's my lack of knowledge or knowing what the truth is that I had accepted sat asat, the gross and subtle coverings, to be myself. This only happened, and as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. Kalpitam brahmani kalpitam pare. The last line, pasye mai brahmani kalpitam pare. Pasya is to realize or to experience or to see. Mai brahmani, myself and the Lord, kalpitam pare. We are transcendental. So this truth was not known to Narada Muni. That is why he was accepting sad asat, the gross and subtle coverings, to be himself. And that gross and subtle coverings got removed when he developed unflinching attention and the taste. Of course, the unflinching attention came because of the taste. Labdha rucher. Tasmin sada labdha rucher mahamate priya shravasi askhalita matir mama. So these verses, when we see, these are not just one verse which have to be taken in isolation and understood. As we have been seeing in the last few verses, the series of verses where how it is mentioned, the sequence in which Narada Muni is developing certain taste or symptoms of advancing in spiritual life. If you remember the last to last verse, 25th verse, he says, Uchishta lepan anumodito dvijai sakrutsma bhunje tadapasta kilvishaha evam prabhutasya visuddha chetasas tadharma evatma ruchih prajayate. The word ruchi was there. And here also labdha rucher is there. Uchishta lepan anumodito dvijai sakrutsma bhunje tadapasta kilvishaha. He mentioned in that verse, with the permission of the great sages, Narad Muni, in his previous birth, took the remnants of their Mahaprasadam. Uchishta lepan anumodito dvijehi. The great transcendentalists, Bhaktivedantists, devotees of the Lord, he took their permission and Uchishta lepan. He just took their remnants of the Mahaprasadam. Very important thing which is mentioned in that verse was Sakratsma Bhunjetad Apasta Kilvisha. Apasta Kilvisha means all the sins were at once eradicated. So he took the Mahaprasadam. The second step, the sins were at once eradicated. Then what happened? And once his sins were eradicated, he was able to engage his senses further in the service of the sages. So Tadapasta, Sakratsma Bhunje Tadapasta Kilvisha. Evam prabhritasya vishuddha chetasas. The chetasas became visuddha, tad dharma evatma ruchih prajayate. So he was able to engage his senses further in the service of the sages. And in this way, he was purified in his heart. The word is visuddha chetasas. The heart has to become purified. And then the next verse, Tatranvaham Krishna Katha pragayatam anugrahena ashranvan manoharaha. Shraddhaya me anupadam vishrunvataha priya sravasi anga mama bhavatruchihi. So then what happened? As soon as the heart was purified, because the important criteria is the heart needs to be purified, he was able to relish the transcendental nature of the sages. One has to One automatically gets attracted to transcendental personalities only when the heart is cleansed. Otherwise, even to develop an attraction or attachment for a pure devotee of the Lord, or for that matter, devotional life or any devotees, it doesn't happen, because the material things, the contaminations in our heart, as long as they're there, material things look attractive. So as soon as his heart was purified, he was able to relish the transcendental nature of the sages and became more and more attracted to them. This way, his eagerness to associate with them grew more and more. This is one of the important criteria in advancing in our devotional life. Uchishta Lepan first happened, then Kilvisha, all the papas went off, attraction to hear increased, and the heart became cleansed or purified. Once the heart became purified, he became more and more attracted to this Vedantists. And then what happened? So once the eagerness to associate with him increased, he started finding every opportunity to associate with them and hear them and serve them. And this way, he got more and more opportunity to hear them speak and relish the glories of the name, fame, pastimes of the Lord. And as he started hearing about the glories of the Lord, he became more and more attracted to Krishna Katha. And he started listening to those transcendental discussions very attentively. We saw that last time. Very, very attentively, he started listening. And by hearing attentively about the Supreme Lord, his taste for hearing about him increased at every step. And as his taste increased more and more, his attention to hear the Lord became unflinching, which is today's verse. And with this unflinching attention, his taste for the Supreme Lord grew further and further. So basically, you see, this whole idea of developing taste for Krishna is a very important thing. That is one of the most important points in this verse, which we are seeing. The verse says that, O great says, as soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead. So, labdha rucher, that's a very, very important thing. Even though we all have taken to this process of devotion and we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day 2 hours, if we ask ourselves how much of time we are thinking of Krishna the whole day and how much we are getting attracted to material things, the answer is very obvious, right? Despite chanting 2 hours of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, trying to do whatever devotional service or here, wherever, whatever source we can, still we fall victims to Maya at various circumstances. The reason for that is we have not developed a taste for Krishna. There is ruchi. The ruchi has not yet come. And if you see, like our Rupa Goswami, who mentions the 9 stages of devotion, first is Adau Shraddha, Atha Sadhu Sangha, Tatha. Then? Women asking her, let her answer.
अनर्थ निवृत्ति,
उसके बाद हो गया रुचि. Then who can tell now? You just have finished your initiation. Adau Shraddha, Atha Sadhu Sangha.
Bhajana Kriya.
Uh-huh.
Bhajana Kriya, Prabhu.
Okay, after that?
Asakti.
नहीं.
निष्ठा हो.
Yes,
ततो
Prabhu,
निष्ठा.
निष्ठा.
So actually Prabhupada says unless we come to the stage of nishtha at least, and nishtha comes after anartha nivritti. Adau shraddha tatha sadhu sangha atha bhajana kriya tatha anartha nivritti syat tato nishtha ruchis tatha. Unless we come to the stage of nishtha, it is very easy to fall down. Because we are still not fixed. Because our attraction, taste will come later. Ruchi comes after nishtha. But at least a sadhaka should aspire to come to the stage of nishtha. See, what happens is at the beginning stage, when we are practicing the sadhana bhakti, there is a force which is required to resist the temptation of sense gratification, and then engaging one in Krishna's service. Even though we are engaging in Krishna's service, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if one is properly engaged in Krishna's service, he'll develop all the symptoms of ecstasy. He'll start dancing before the deities, and there'll be tears coming from his eyes. The hairs will stand on the end. These are not exaggeration, it happens. But then if we have not reached there, that is the highest stage of Krishna Prema, that means we are stuck somewhere here. One of the things which takes a longer time to overcome is anartha nivriti. Not that it cannot be overcome, it can be. But to overcome that anartha nivriti, the first three things has to be done properly. Adho shraddha tha sadhu sanga tatha bhajana kriya. One crucial point to overcome the anartha nivriti stage is to have a proper bhajana kriya. Whatever the processes which are recommended by Srila Prabhupada. One thing is our morning program, right? Getting up early in the morning, attending Mangalarati, chanting the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, hearing Bhagavatam class. This has to be done in association. There is a great advantage of doing it together. If you cannot do it, no problem, at least do it at home. But this is a must. If this doesn't happen properly, there will never be any taste. You forget about it. If the chanting is not proper, if a person is not able to do his morning program, morning sadhana properly, he's not able to get up, he's not able to come, he's not able to do, the taste for Krishna Katha will never come. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. And we can't take it for granted because Prabhupada says at least to the stage of Nishtha one has to come. After Nishtha, one can be fixed at least. But even, we have examples of exalted personalities, great devotees like Bharat Maharaj, who fell down even from the stage of Bhava, not just Nishtha, Ruchi, he had gone past all this. So what to speak of people like us? So that is why our habits, our activities have to be so regulated, so disciplined that we do our morning sadhana and do it with full conviction, with all the feelings and with the right emotions, chanting the names of the Lord, being present in samsara davanala, not just present, but internalizing and trying to meditate on the meaning when we are singing, not just simply doing it without any this thing. And then chanting also is not proper, then Krishna Katha, the ruchi for Krishna Katha will not come. Very interestingly, the purport, the first part of the purport, if we see, I've not gone further. Of course, I wanted to start with this topic that, who is telling this? Who is this Narada Muni? Sometimes we may think this, okay, Narada Muni is just another devotee he's talking. Actually, the position of Narada Muni is mentioned in the last verse of next chapter. Aho devarshirs dhanyo ayam yat kirtim sarangad dhanvanaha gayan madyan idam tantriya ramyati aturam jagat. All glory and success to Sri Narada Muni because he glorifies the activities of the personality of Godhead. And so doing, he himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. So it is not just this Narada Muni is not just an ordinary person. And the glorification of the Lord, the way Narada Muni does, it is mentioned here that he himself is taking pleasure in that, Madhyan, and by doing so, he enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. That same Narada Muni, that same transcendentalist is talking about his past life and how in a very unfortunate situation he was in, but how he could transform that, how he could change that against all the odds. To do that, actually, two things are required. One is the mercy of the pure devotees. The second thing is a cheshta, endeavor. Now, the first thing, mercy of the Lord or mercy of pure devotee can be, it is not like you can't demand, give me mercy. It is depending on our intention. So here, the word used here is unflinching attention. We need to ask ourselves how much of attention we have, even when it comes to hearing, reading, or trying to understand. That is a great sign of advancement of a devotee. It's a very simple thing, very, very simple thing. how much I am attracted to hear material Katha, Gramya Katha, and how much I am attracted to hear Krishna Katha. It's a taste. It's not a taste, it's a test where you can see, test one person, whether he is inclined to sit and hear or eager or putting some efforts, swacheshtitam, or it is just a matter of duty, what to do, one Bhagavatam class and to attend one Bhagavad Gita class. So this is where the test lies. You don't have to, you can't fake it. You can say that I've been initiated, I've been practicing devotional life for so many years, but if it doesn't manifest in our behavior, seniority doesn't come just by age, by the number of years we have been serving the mission or anything of that sort. It comes by our behavior. And as it is mentioned here, and it's not just here, in every place it is mentioned. So for that, the two things which is required is, first is mercy and the second thing is chesta. There is nobody in this world who has become successful, even in the material world, without proper endeavor. I don't know if I was sharing this example, but I heard this recently in Akshay Patra Gala. There was an interview with Harsh Bhogle. Who's Harsh Bhogle? Commentator, yeah, the cricket commentator. You know Harsh Bhogle? So he was being interviewed for the gala and he was telling his experiences of having interacted with the legends like Tendulkar and Lakshmans and so on and so forth. One thing which he was mentioning was when Shane Warne, Mataji knows a lot of cricket. Okay, when Shane Warne was at his peak, right, the blonde Australian who was like really deadly, very, very good spinner. So he used to bowl leg spin. And one of the very unique characteristic of Shane Warne is he used to bowl round the wicket. I'm going a little technical, leg spin, and it's not easy to play. So when the first time Australia toured, when Shane Warne was there in the team, when they came, they had a practice match against Mumbai. So the Mumbai coach had told the batsmen in the team, don't give any respect to Shane Warne. So they just destroyed him. Like he didn't get any wickets and he was very expensive. Maybe 200, 300 runs he gave away. In that practice match, Sachin Tendulkar was not playing. He was just observing. And he was trying to read the mind of Shane Warne. What is he going to do? How is he going to, what kind of techniques he's going to apply against me? And very interestingly, Harsh Bhogle says, and this is what people don't see, that people say that, okay, he is gifted. He's been doing it from his childhood, or he has got some special abilities. That's why he could do it. When the first test match happened between India and Australia, and Shane Warne bowled that leg spin round the wicket, Sachin Tendulkar actually swept it, and it went for a 4 boundary. And Navjot Singh Sidhu, who was there at the other end, he said, we never knew that we could play sweep shot to a leg spinner who's bowling round the wicket. And they thought this is something great innovation, and it is a genius or a legend like Tendulkar can do. But what Harsh Bhogle was trying to point out was that there was a 3 days gap between this practice match and the first test match. And Tendulkar, who didn't play that practice match, went to Bangalore. He flew from Mumbai to Bangalore, to the Bangalore Pace Academy, or whatever this thing by Venkatesh Prasad. There is a Pace Academy. He went there. He requested him, can I practice for this 3 days, the machine bowling me round the wicket leg spin? This is Tendulkar, whom people consider that he's legend or genius or very accomplished, and people think that he did it just by some sheer chance or because he was gifted he could do it. Actually, there is chesta, there is hard work, there is endeavor that is required. How much I am willing to, what is the goal in my life? If my goal in life is to go back home, back to Godhead, am I really making efforts in that? That is in my control. Mercy, whether I'll receive the mercy or not, I don't know. But unless I'm serious, my intention is to advance, and I'm very serious, I'm not I'm not trying to be deceptive, not trying to deceive. Sow something and do something. Then Krishna will help. Krishna will make necessary arrangements. I want to tell you a story, and the story is not a new one. It's a very new story, but related to the purport that we are reading today. The story is of this man. Anybody knows what is the story just from the picture? Nobody?
Can't recollect, Prabhu.
Huh? Can't recollect. Huh?
He is a winner and
नहीं. Winner नहीं है. That's the one. Yes. Bhagavad Tattva Prabhu is right. So this is a story of that one king who invited all the tailors of his kingdom to stitch a new cloth for him. And he told the person who will stitch the best cloth, best dress, will be rewarded heavily. So everybody came and they showed their design and all, and the king didn't like any one of them. And there was one very intellectual tailor. He told, I'll stitch something which is very, very unique. And he showed, see, this is how the beautiful fabric is, and this is the thread which is going to be used for this, and this is how it will look like. So he said, yes, yes, yes. And then the king finally, actually, he was not doing anything. He was a charlatan, or what do you call that? A cheat, which Prabhupada uses the word, right? So he was a cheat. He was trying to cheat the king. There was no cloth, there was no thread, there was nothing. And he came and he told the king, see, this is the most beautiful dress ever in the world possible that you can have. And you wear it. So king was not seeing anything, but he didn't want to appear foolish. So he said, yeah, it's very nice, beautiful. So since the king was telling it is very nice, beautiful, all the ministers also told, yes, yes, it's very nice, beautiful, beautiful. And then, so after he was dressed, virtually he was not dressed. There was nothing, no dress on him. This picture is showing something. There was nothing. So then he went for a tour of his kingdom. Now that I am very nicely dressed, let's see how people are appreciating me. So he started going out in this naked, completely naked, and he was going. Everybody was quiet and stunned. What is this? Why this king? You can look at the reactions of those people looking at him, the onlookers. Are stunned. This fellow, mad fellow, what is going naked? And the people are also the two accompanies that he has. They are also very happy and they are just going behind him. Suddenly, in one street, there was one child. There were some children who were playing. He started shouting, "There's no dress on this king. He is naked." And the moment he said, there are a few others who repeated, "Oh, the king is naked. The king is naked." And then the whole, community, everybody started saying, "Oh, the king is naked." Then the king realized, "Okay, really, I'm naked." So actually, the story, the reason I told this is our position is something like that. Why our position is something like that? Because we accept this gross body and subtle body to be who we are. And the first part of the purport, Prabhupada very brilliantly brings out this, and how we get caught up in this material world's advertisements and the assurances. Yes, 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 you do this. By this way, you'll be happy. Just try this, just this one thing. Yes, yes, you're doing good. You're looking nice, very beautiful. And these kind of false promises, assurances, or this kind of, confirmations which are given by foolish people that make us, go like that naked person, that king. And I don't want to, even though I sometimes understand the problems, the miseries of this material life, the temporariness, but still I want to say, no, I'm fine. Everything is good. My salary is great. My job is great. I have no issues. We live a life like that. And how does Prabhupada explain that? In the first part of the purport, if you see, very beautifully Prabhupada says, Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness. So ignorance is compared to darkness, and in all Vedic literatures, the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. You cannot have a situation where sun is shining in the sky and there is darkness also. It is not possible. So ignorance is darkness, and the sun is compared to the Lord. And we saw that when sun is present, darkness cannot be there. So hearing of the Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. See, this aspect of hearing, why it is stressed, why it is given so much of importance. We know that, the Yuga Dharma is chanting of Hare Krishna, but to even chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with that attention, to put that cheshta behind it, Madhubani Prabhu keeps telling about that cheshta. With that intention, how do we do that? I need to read, I need to hear, I need to come to that conclusion that yes, chanting of Hare Krishna is the Yuga Dharma. To come to that conviction and do it with the same intention every day, I need to understand the scriptures. So here Prabhupada is writing, hearing of the Lord's pastimes is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. We often talk about this. Lord being the supreme absolute truth, there is no difference between him and his names, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. Names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. There is no difference. So when we are hearing the pastimes of the Lord, we are associating with him. When we are chanting the names of the Lord, we are associating with him. To become associated with the supreme light is to dissipate all ignorance. So the moment we associate, that means the ignorance is going. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with the material nature. When ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead, then nescience is removed. Where it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita? There is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. The nescience is removed.
अहम सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते.
रुक जाओ, नहीं है वो. Arjuna gets bewildered, then what happens? What कार्पण्य दोष में क्या होता है? The question is, when ignorance is removed, it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. The nescience is removed. There is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. There is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. Where is it mentioned in Bhagavad Gita? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Where is it? What is the verse?
What is the verse? There are very few people who
No, what?
out of the thousands of
Out of?
thousands of people.
No. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvata. No. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyate. Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlava. Behind everything there is Lord. The Supreme Lord is behind the material creation, behind the spiritual thing. Everything that we see, that is Lord's creation. To come to that conclusion, bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyate. The person who is in knowledge will come to this kind of surrender. Bahunam janmanam ante. It is not easy. It's after many, many births. So this is what he's telling here. When ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead, then nescience is removed. Actually, there is nothing which is mine. There is nothing which I can control. Everything is Krishna's, including this material body. including my mind, this matter. But for some false reason, because of this ignorance, I'm thinking this is what I am. This is my body, this is my children, this is my husband, my wife. And this conception is gone when realizes Vasudevam Sarvamiti, that the Lord is there behind everything. It's His creation. And the nations is removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in service of the Lord. This realization is a very important one. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations, so my body is gross body and the subtle body, both are emanations from the Supreme Lord, and the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. It allows one to engage in service of the Lord. We engage, like Prabhupada is giving the example of gross body being engaged in physical service of the Lord, and the subtle body being engaged in service of chanting the names of the Lord, or archana, or worshipping the Lord. So this can only happen once we realize we are actually, our existence is from Krishna. We are part and parcel of Him. There's nothing in this world which is mine. If I am Krishna's, then let me be engaged in Krishna's service. But in this whole thing that we read, the ignorance can dissipate if the sun of Krishna rises in our lives. And Prabhupada is comparing the sun of Krishna to rise in our lives by associating with the pastimes of the Lord, by hearing about Him. So one thing which we have been seeing during Krishna's birth or Janmashtami preparations, the eagerness with which Parikshit heard, like I was talking about that. So you see, there are 7 days time, and assuming that the 10th, 11th, and 12th are done in 5th, 6th, and 7th, assuming the 9 cantos are over in the 4 days. And Sukadev Goswami, out of compassion, he just finished the 10th canto in 2 verses. The entire 10th canto, whatever is there, it was summarized in 9th canto. If you see the last 2 verses, he just finished it. How did Krishna take birth? How he killed all the demons? How he enjoyed pastimes with Vrindavan and all the Brajavasis? Went to Dwarka. He was engaged in ritualistic ceremonies, all these things, and then he winded up his pastimes. Like that, he finished it. But Parikshit was so eager. And this quality is such an important thing. He was not eating. He was not drinking. And he was not eating and drinking doesn't mean that he was tired. He was sleeping. No, he was not sleeping also. He was not eating. He was not drinking. He was not sleeping because he's just drinking the nectar of Harikatha. Harikatha Amritam was going on, and he was so eagerly, so nicely absorbed in hearing this Krishna Katha. That is how he could achieve the perfection. So this pastimes of the Lord, okay, I'll just take one verse. There are countless verses in Bhagavatam, but there's just one verse we will take and see. This comes in the 10th canto, 7th chapter, 1st and 2nd verse. Let me share that screen. 10.7.12. So this verse, actually, if you see, of course, this verse is spoken by Parikshit. And what he's telling is, Shri Raja Uvacha, Yena Yena Avatarena Bhagavan Hari Ishwaraha Karoti Karna Ramyani Mano Gyani Chanah Prabho Yashunvato Apaiti Aratir Vitrishna Sattvam Cha Suddheti Achirena Pumsa Bhaktir Haro Tat Purushe Cha Sakhyam Tadeva Haram Vadamanye Siechet. Actually, there are 7 benefits of hearing Krishna Katha as per this verse. Yena Yena Avatarena Bhagavan Hari Rishwaraha Karoti Karna Ramyani Mano Gyani Janah Prabho Yarshunvato Apaiti Aretir Vitrishna Sattvam Cha Suddheti Achirena Pumsa Bhaktir Haro Tat Purushe Cha Sakhyam Tadeva Haram Vadamanye Siechet. I'll just read the translation and I'll tell you what are the 7 benefits of hearing Krishna Katha. The translation goes like this. King Parikshit said, My Lord Sukadev Goswami, all the various activities exhibited by the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are certainly pleasing to the ear, first one, and to the mind, Simply by one's hearing of these activities, the dirty things in one's mind immediately vanish. Second thing. Generally, we are reluctant to hear about the activities of the Lord, but Krishna's childhood activities are so attractive that they are automatically pleasing to the mind and ear. Thus, one's attachment for hearing about material things, which is the root cause of material existence, vanishes. 4. One gradually develops devotional service to the Supreme Lord. 5. Attachment for Him and friendship with devotees who give us the contribution of Krishna consciousness. 6, 7. If you think it fit, kindly speak about these activities of the Lord. So let's just see which are the 7 benefits. And the first one is Karna Ramyani. You see, Karna Ramyani, very pleasing to the ears. A similar verse is there in the first canto, first chapter, 19th verse, where the sages are telling, Vayam tuna bitrupyama yah uttama shloka vikrame yah shunvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. Karna Ramyani is used here, and that is swadu swadu pade. In every step, hearing about Krishna Katha is relishable. The benefits, see how many things in this world are there which are pleasing to our ears. Very, very few. And whatever are there, they're very temporary. But Krishna Katha is so attractive. Whoever we may be, we get attracted. Karna Ramyani, swadu swadu pade pade. So the translation of that verse is, there is no satiation or tiring in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with Him relish hearing of His pastimes at every moment. Karna Ramyani, very pleasing to the ears. First benefit. Second one, Manogyani, very attractive to the mind. Very attractive. The verse in 12th canto that comes, Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam Tadeva Saswan Manaso Mahotsavam. It's very attractive to the mind. Mahotsavam, Manaso Mahotsavam. It's a festival for the mind. Those words describing the glories of the all-famous personality of Godhead are attractive, relishable, and ever fresh. Indeed, such words are a perpetual festival for the mind, and they dry up the ocean of misery. So Manogyani, very attractive to the mind. One of the things which we don't realize, if you compare the material things with the transcendental things, anything which is matter, few days back we had some extra prasadam. You keep this prasadam, even if it is transcendental, it is free from all contaminations. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. After that, it gets spoiled. It's no more tasty or relishable. The flowers which are kept here, offered to the Lord, after a few days, they become pale and you have to throw them. So anything that is matter, our body looks so attractive when we are young, but this body perishes, it becomes old. Anything that is matter perishes. The taste goes away, the newness goes away, the freshness goes away. But that is not true for the spiritual things. Spiritual things are very dynamic. The same Bhagavatam, the same Bhagavad Gita, we again and again hear, we again and again read. It is new and it is ever fresh because it is a dynamic thing. It is giving you so much reciprocation. So it is very attractive to the mind. Those words describing the glories of the all-famous personality of Godhead are attractive. This is a big difference because we have never perceived something which is ever fresh. We have never perceived something which is always giving us, new rasas. So we think, what is the big deal in spiritual thing? Also is like another book I'm reading. No, but it is ever fresh. It is new. It is an attraction to the mind. It is a festival for the mind. Third thing in this verse which is mentioned is apaiti aratihi. It vanishes the unattractiveness. Apaiti aratihi. So if you see this, Prabhupada says, Paramahamsas and devotees who have accepted the essence of life are attracted to Krishna in the core of their hearts. And He is the aim of their lives. Paramahamsas and devotees who have accepted the essence of life are attached to Krishna in the core of their hearts, and He is the aim of their lives. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment, as if such topics are newer and newer. They are attracted to such topics just as materialists are attached to topics of women and sex. This is 10th canto, 13th chapter, 2nd verse in the translation Prabhupada writes. I just put in Vedaves taste, and everywhere you'll find where is, how materialistic people, Prabhupada talks about this, are attached to so many things. Somebody is attached to earning money, amassing wealth. Somebody is attached to women, sex. Somebody is attached to fighting. Somebody is attached to so many material things. He just attached to that. He'll do that only. Similarly, the devotees, the transcendentalists, they are who are attached to Krishna in their core of their hearts, and that is the aim of their lives. They want to talk. They want to discuss at every moment. And as if these topics are newer and newer. Like we know the example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is to tell that what to talk about a daily, weekly magazine. There, the spiritual world, there are so many dynamic things are happening that in every single moment we can publish one magazine if there is a chance. Apaiti vitrishna, vanquishes disinterest. There is a disinterest caused by the dirty things in our mind. There is no interest for Krishna Katha. Ruchir, Labdha Ruchir is not coming because there is dirty things in our mind. And in this verse it is mentioned, Apaiti vitrishna, it vanquishes disinterest. So again, this is a translation of 3rd canto, 5th chapter, 13th verse. Here Prabhupada is saying for the translation, 3.5.13, for one who's anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. One who's anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all his miseries without delay. Yesterday I was telling that verse, right? Apavitro pavitrova sarvavastha gatopiva yasmaret pundarikaksham sah bahya abhyantara suchihe. Whether you are impure or pure, externally or internally. Apavitro pavitrova sarvavastha gatopiva, whatever state you may be. Yasmaret pundarikaksham, if you are able to remember the Lord, whose name is Pundarikaksham. Pundarika is lotus, Aksha is eyes, lotus eyed. If you are able to remember the lotus eyed Lord, Sah Bahya Abhyantara Suchi, then immediately he becomes Suchi, purified, both in his both externally and internally. What state I am in, I don't have any control, right? Whatever, whether I'm pure, impure, whatever state I may be in. This is just one shot. If I'm able to remember Pundarikaksham, Sabhaya Abhyantara Suchi, he becomes purified. So for one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all his miseries without delay. So Apaiti vitrishna, this is 4th. 5th one is Sattvam cha suddhyeti. The heart becomes purified. This is the beauty of hearing Krishna Katha. This is the beauty of being part of Bhagavatam discussion. Actually, people try to find ways and means of who have not developed the taste, who have not understood what is the importance of this. Avoid this. They think it is not important. Something somebody is speaking. What is it? If I miss it also, it is fine. It is not fine. We need to hear every single day. Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which is non-different from him. It is my service. It is my seva. I need to hear. When I hear, then only my contaminations in my heart will go. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shlokya Bhaktir Bhavati Nashti. Abhadra will only go if Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya is happening. If you recollect the song which Prabhupada wrote in Commonwealth Pier when he was about to come, Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai, right? Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai, when Prabhupada was writing that? No, not that. The other one, what is that? Bada Kripa Koile Krishna, Adhamera Prati. In that, he was thinking, how will these people who are in so much of mode of passion and ignorance will get attracted to your message? How will it be? How is it possible? Our state is not any different. We have no attachment to hear or do anything. How will we get attracted to Krishna? And when Prabhupada is contemplating about those, the situation of people who are completely covered by passion and ignorance, how will they ever get attracted to Krishna? He thinks about these verses. Shrunvata Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Pradayantastho hi abhadrani. vidhunoti suhrit satam, and then nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu it goes. So it is only by Srinvata Sukatha Krishna, by hearing Krishna Katha, one gets purified. Srinvata Sukatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. So Sattvam cha Suddheti is the fifth one. Heart becomes purified. If you see Bhagavatam 9:24-62, the translation, simply by receiving the glories of the Lord through purified transcendental years, the devotees of the Lord are immediately freed from strong material desires and engagement in fruitive activities. What is the contamination? What is the contamination? The contamination is our ignorance. Ignorance of accepting ourselves as body and trying to enjoy this body. But here it is mentioned, simply by receiving the glories of the Lord through purified transcendental years. Purified transcendental years, the devotees of the Lord are immediately freed from strong material desires and engagement in fruitive act. It's a byproduct. It's like, whether you know or not, when you take the medicine, it is going to work. You don't need to know what is the chemical composition. You may not like it, but you take it, it will work. Whether you know or not, fire burns. So I said, I don't know. I didn't know that fire is going to burn. I touched, fire will not burn. No, it will burn you. Simply by receiving the glories of the Lord through the purified transcendental years, the devotees of the Lord are immediately freed from strong material desires and engagement in fruitive activities. Sixth, bhakti haro, devotional attachment and service to the Lord. Another thing which we don't develop that. Attachment to devotional attachment and service to the Lord. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material conditions, flows towards the Supreme Lord. This is 3:29, 11 and 12, spoken by Kapila Dev to Devavati. Bhakti haro, devotional attachment and service to the Lord. So the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited. Unadulterated. This is what is the definition of pure bhakti, right? What is the definition? Anyavilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavratam anukulyana krishnanu bhaktiruttama. Uttama bhakti is anyavilasita sunyam, free from jnana and karma. There is no intent, there is no other desire other than just to be engaged in devotional service. The goal, the means, everything is devotional service. The means to reach there is devotional service, and the goal is to be engaged in devotional service. Ananya Bhilasita Sunyam. So the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name qualities of the Supreme Personality of God. And the last one is Tat Purushe Cha Sakhyam, friendship with the devotees or association of devotees. Now, this one point is there in so many places. There is that prayer by Dhruva Maharaj where he says, attraction to your lotus feet and association of devotees. Not getting that, it will come. There is another place where it is mentioned, and it is the Prithu Maharaj's prayers, 4:20-24. So he's telling, I'm just reading the translation, my dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. So he doesn't want the merging into Brahman, where there is no, or a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years. For thus, I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. He wants to hear it from the mouths of pure devotees, and he's praying to the Lord, give me 1 million years. This is other verse other than Rupa Goswami, where he's saying, asking for 1 million years so that he can hear the pastimes of the Lord. Tat Purushe Cha Sakhyam, friendship with the devotees or association of devotees. These are the 7 benefits of hearing Krishna Katha. Hearing about the glories and pastimes of Krishna, 10.7.1.1-2. First one, very pleasing to the ears, Karna Ramyani. Second one, Manogyani, very attractive to the mind. Third one, Apaiti Aratihi, vanishes all the unattractiveness. Fourth one, Apaiti Vitrishna, vanquishes the disinterest. There is one which is Arati, I may not be attracted, but Vitrishna is another dangerous thing. There is no interest. You see, there are so many people who come yesterday also, if you observe closely, somewhere seated inside, somewhere outside. They are not able to come inside because there is no interest. The interest itself is not there. One is maybe, it is unattractive. But if there is no interest, attraction, if there is interest, attraction may come. Right now, I don't have. But if there is no interest, so it is saying not just attraction, even the disinterest also is vanished. Apaiti aratihi, apaiti vitrishna. Then the fifth one is sattvam cha suddhyati. Very important. Heart becomes cleansed. Then bhakti haro, devotional attachment and service to the Lord. And the last one is tat purushe cha sakhyam, friendship with the devotees or association of devotees. So these are the benefits of hearing Krishna Katha, and this is how the ruchi for the Lord comes, the taste comes. And once the taste comes, then there is askhalita matihi. The matihi becomes askhalita. It is unflinching attention for the Lord comes. And when that happens, then as it is mentioned here, one realizes that because of ignorance, I'm considering myself to be this body, this subtle mind to be mine, my own or me, and this property and these assets to be mine. Actually, everything belongs to the Lord. Everything is transcendental. So these are some of the important points of this verse. Any question? Any comments?
In the Bhagavad Gita, there are five Panchetani Maha.
Okay.
There are five actions, five things that act on a person, right? Make things happen. So the last one is
Daivam.
Devam. So even if this cheshta, one person can keep endeavoring, may not get it right. Get whatever they are trying to do.
So that is 5 factors of action for material things.
Material.
Where you want to accomplish anything in this material world, there is karta, there is karanam, there is adhishtanam, cheshta, and then daivam. The doer, the place of action, instrument, cheshta, and then daivam. But for spiritual thing, this cheshta is different. This is more of your, this is a strong desire, that intention, very strong intention. Now, the strong intention doesn't come within us because we don't really have a fixed goal that in this life I have to go back home, back to God. We have other priorities in our lives, not just grahasthas, everybody. Some other priorities are there. Along with that, I'm also engaged in devotion. It is not Vyavasayatmika buddhi is actually udyam. It's a cheshta. It's a cheshta. A resolute determination that this is what I need to do. So when you have that clarity, the fixed goal in your mind, you will endeavor hard. I'll put extra efforts. I'll try to understand what is this. And then if somebody tries doing that, he is more qualified to receive the mercy. And of course, this process of devotion it's a process, right? We said Ado Shraddha ta Sadhu Sangha tata Bhajana Kriya atha Anartha Nivritti tatha Nishtha Ruchi. So to come to the stage of Nishtha, you have to go through the stage. It's not that you are exception and you'll go past this and go to that Nishtha. One has to go through this, then one has to go through all the processes properly. He has to do Sadhu Sangha. He has to do Bhajana Kriya, the morning program, the sadhana that we have, very important. Then anartha nivritti will happen, and anarthas also need to be identified. Anarthas will manifest only when one is in association of devotees, and one doesn't do anything. He thinks it is fine, and he doesn't even realize that it is his own anartha. So where is the question of nivritti? Where is the question of coming to nishtha? Nishtha stage will only come if we go past anartha. Dealings with Vaishnavas, Vaishnava etiquettes, such an important thing. Mercy of Vaishnavas, mercy of Guru, mercy of deities are required to go past this stage to go to the next stage. we take it for granted. I'm a very big devotee now. Who am I to get corrected? I'm not, nobody should correct me. Nobody should. For us, I have to think myself, not for you. It's that I am supposed to be corrected. Somebody should point out, these are my problems. These are the things. These are not the way. It is not some, okay, I'm getting a chance to do devotional service. Whatever comes to my mind, I'll do it. I'll show them, I'll prove it. I can do it. I don't need to talk to you. Not like that. Because in spiritual world, there is no question of envy. There is no question of competition. There is maybe transcendental competition, how I can do better service to the Lord. But there is no envy or how can he take my this thing? Why will I listen to him? These are all ego. These are all considering myself to be material body. I am such a big person. He can tell this to me. So developing now, why did he say is not a big thing? Thing is, how did I respond to it? So if I carry all these anarthas, nishtha stage will not come. Bhakti is not a cheap thing where I can do anything that I like just because I know I have some skills. I can do some things. So I am a big devotee. Not true. Maybe I am collecting good. I'm doing nice kirtan. I'm able to speak. But these are not what the real symptoms of bhakti. Bhakti means you develop those good qualities. One has to go past that anartha nivritti. Then nishtha comes. And once nishtha comes, ruchi comes. Once the taste comes, then is automatically, there is no force required to resist the temptation or the allurement of material world. Now there is a force, and it is dragging us because we know we have to put efforts. No, I don't want. I want to come here. But once you have a taste, there is no force. It's effortlessly it will happen. Material things is pale. There is no taste at all in dead matter. There is one place where Prabhupada writes, there is no taste in dead matter. How can you be saying that there is taste in this? Because of our false association, because of our false identification, because of ignorance, we are thinking there is taste in this. So once this comes, this becomes effortless. So the answer is, Daivam is, the 5 factors are for material things. Here it is more of that clarity that this is what I want to do and this is what is only possible in human form of life. You give a monkey a Bhagavatam book, what will he learn and understand from this? He'll tear it off. And this human form of life, we can come out of the cycle of birth and death, but we are not serious about it. We don't do the processes properly. Like Tendulkar, I gave that example, that intention is there. There is a verse, no Bhagavatam, so cheshtitam. What is that verse? 2.8.4. Grinatascha sucheshtitam. What is it? Kalena nati dirghena bhagavan vishate. What is that? Shunvata shraddhaya nityam. Grinatascha sucheshtitam. Kalena nati dirghena bhagavan vishate. Very beautiful verse. Shunvata shraddhaya nityam. If you see these words, very simple. Shunvata, hearing about Krishna, nityam, every day you have to hear. Shunvata shraddhaya, in earnestness. First, I've never seen Prabhupada translating Shraddhaya as in earnestness anywhere else. It's not faith, in earnestness. Srinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Swacheshtitam. Taking the matter seriously. And Swacheshtitam, I did not understand, I could not understand, doesn't mean that I have to give it up. No, Swacheshtitam, you have to put an effort, endeavor. How do I understand from this? What is going on here? Being present at the moment and trying to see what Bhagavatam is unfolding is a very nice way of. So if you see, you just come with a mindset of, okay, Narada Muni and Vyasadev, this conversation is going on and Narada Muni has explained so far these things, 3-4 things he has told, what happened in his life. What is next? If there is an eagerness, okay, if there is an earnestness, I want to know what happened. And I come with that mindset, the next point will register in my mind. It cannot go away. So, Granatascha Sucheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena. It doesn't take much time. Bhagavan Bisate Hridi, when the Lord appears in our heart. Krishna says this. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. Process is given. What we have to do also we know. What we lack, there is a laziness. There is a lethargy. Bigata Jwara. 3.30. What is that? 3.30. purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Samat para, what is it? Sanyasya dhyatma chetasa nirasir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva bigata jvara. That bigata jvara is lethargy, laziness. What is the translation of that? Lethargy. Lethargy is bigata jvara. Don't be lazy. I mean, it is achievable, it is doable, but there are so many things which pull us back. Any other question? Is that answer? Any question? Pleasure. No. No questions. We'll stop here and see what happens next when Narada Muni is telling some more things. And after having gotten that knowledge, how did he implement that in his life and what happened? We will see that. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.